Carolina on the ride. Whoa, whoa. Carolina on the ride.
What's up, Panther Nation? Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. We are at halftime right now. Of course, give you some updates and a little bit of summary of what's happened so far in the first half. Coming into the game, of course, Carolina and Denver matching 4-8 records. Out for this game are Christian McCaffrey with his thigh, offensive lineman Dennis Daly with a concussion, offensive tackle Greg Little is a healthy scratch. Defensive end Marquise Haynes had an illness. DJ Moore and both defensive tackle Zach Kerr are both out, still on the COVID reserve list. In for this week, since my last video, wide receiver Curtis Samuel, Shaq Thompson, defensive tackle Derek Brown, all that were on the COVID list are now off of it and playing today. Yetur Gross-Matos also is playing today. So it's been a boring game so far. There's been the Here, I'll give you the play-by-play. Basically, here's their drives, all 5 drives each. Okay, Denver had a punt, Carolina had a punt, and on Denver's second possession, that punt translated to a 83-yard punt return for a touchdown by Dennis Spencer, bringing it in. They just was blocking up front, and they was able to get out on the edges and was able to get downfield and get a punt return it for a touchdown. So they missed the extra point, which put it at 6-0. Carolina's their second punt, that was the first punt. Second punt was they had 8 plays, 44 yards. Teddy Bridgewater got sacked by Jeremiah, I believe Atoachu is his name. So then Denver gets the ball back. We have like a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 punts in the first few possessions. Denver's fourth possession, we did have our luck turn around for us. Once again, should be defensive rookie of the year. Jeremy Shinn ended up getting a sack, forced fumble, and F.A. Abada had picked up the fumble and returned it to the Carolinas until their 4-yard line or 3-yard line. And then, of course, the next play, Mike Davis gets a 3-yard touchdown return. Extra point is good. Carolina's up 7-6. Denver gets their drive, and this is what hurts them, and is having penalties at inopportune times, because on Denver's 5th drive, Brian Burns ended up getting a roughing the passer penalty, which would have made Denver have a 4th down if that had happened and stopped the run. However, it gave them an automatic 1st down, so they went down again. And then Jermaine Carter makes a great stop down near the red zone, and I don't know if it was going to be 3rd or 4th down, but he just stands over the running back and just looks at him, and then he got an unsportsmanlike conduct, which put him at the 4-yard line. Then Drew Lock hits Nick Vanette for a 4-yard TD pass. Extra point is good. Denver now leads 13-7. On that drive, Lock had 42 passing yards, and they got 16 yards of rushing. And then Carolina to end the half, Bridgewater gets sacked again, so it puts by Will Parks, and it's a 16-yard loss, and sets them so far back. So going into half, Drew Lock is 12 of 16, 85 yards, 1 touchdown, got sacked once. Melvin Gordon's 10 carries, 37 yards. Jerry Jeudy is 1 catch, 31 yards. And on the Panthers side, Bridgewater, of course, 9 of 12, 62 yards, 3 sacks for minus 32 yards. Running the ball, he's 2 of 24, Bridgewater is. Davis was 4 of 19 yards, 1 touchdown. And he also leads receiving, 3 catches, 22 yards. Trey Boston, 5 tackles. Jeremy Chin 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. So and Jeremiah Ochoa, Will Parks, and Deontay Walker, all three of those guys had a sack apiece, and add on to Deontay Spencer. Or Den Spencer getting an 83-yard punt return. So that's where we're at. We're going to have to hope that Carolina is all they're doing is throwing check downs, check down, check down, check down. Both teams really are. Denver had the best drive, aided with the 2 penalties there near their last drive to get on the board. So we'll have to see what they do next in the second half. They've got to try to somehow just get points. They got to go deep. That it's just a defensive game so far. Really, not much either team is doing. So one team's not doing any differently, no better than the other. Both defenses are playing pretty good. Outside of that, those 2 penalties, it would have been a closer game. So we'll have to see, Panther Nation. I'll come back at you here with the second half just as soon as the game is over. So hold up, and I will be back shortly. And the second half is now over. The game is officially over. Welcome back. Second half wasn't any better than the first half. We blew another game. Let me get right into the drives for you. Of course, we were coming off the first half. For Carolina's first drive was a punt, 4 plays, -5 yards. Denver's first drive, KJ Hamler had a 37-yard touchdown reception. Drew Lock was 2 of 2, 48 yards on that play. Carolina got the ball on their second drive. They ended up hitting a 35-yard field goal. Of course, Teddy Bridgewater was 2 of 6, 31 yards. Denver's next drive, Tim Patrick gets a 2-yard receiving touchdown. Drew Lock is 4 of 5, 79 yards. He got a fumble but did recover it. And I believe it's Tony Fumagalli had 2 catches, 45 yards. Looked like a close play right at the goal line, but he had ended up coming like a couple of yards short. And, of course, Tim Patrick caught the ball and scored a touchdown. Third drive, Bridgewater gets a 7-yard TD rushing touchdown. He is 7 for 7 on that drive. At one point, I think he was 11 for 11 in his passes and connection. Curtis Samuel on that drive, 2 catches, 36 yards. Denver's next drive, they punt the ball, 5 plays, 19 yards. Carolina's got a next drive, they get a 26-yard field goal. Teddy, of course, 6 of 6, 67 yards this drive. So that makes them around 14 in a row, not 11, as I said. 14 in a row. Robbie Anderson, 3 catches on that drive for 39 yards. KJ Hamler, yet again, another touchdown, his second touchdown of the day. A 49-yard receiving touchdown. Drew Lock is 2 of 2, 69 yards. This puts Denver up 32-20. Carolina gets the ball back on their drive. Mike Davis gets a 10-yard touchdown run. Bridgewater's 2 of 3, 52 yards. So it cuts the lead down to 5. Denver on their next drive goes 3 and out. So here we go. We get a chance, and Carolina ends up turning the ball over on downs. Jones gets a sack for Bridgewater, and we only go 4 plays, only for 3 yards. Then Denver basically runs out the clock. Denver ends up winning the final 32-27. They go up to 5 and 8. Carolina drops to 4 and 9. So it looks like we're playing awful to try to get a better spot. That's the look of it. I try to give Bridgewater too much credit, and I've tried to defend him just so much and knowing what others have said. However, if you've watched the games, today it was like a check down. He was check down Teddy today. I mean, like that 4th down we need a 4th and 8. He throws a 2-yard slant. I blame Teddy, and I blame the play calling, especially the play calling and time management here. It has been so terrible, and you get this so late in the season. And granted, he's a college coach, but you on this time when it comes to time management, clock management, that's on you. You've got to do better than that. And again, it was just shoddy play calling today on many different drives and different times when things could have done. Guys missing balls. It was just a horrific second half for us today. Even when we had a chance to come back and to possibly at least get us a chance to try to get, because we had enough time to go down and get a good drive going, but stupid penalties when they happen, it really hurt us of this game. So, and at the ending of the game, Teddy ends up 30 of 40 for 283 yards, 4 sacks for 38 yards, 3 rushes for 31 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So the only touchdown he gets today was that 7-yard scamper that he got in the fourth quarter. Mike Davis ends up 11 carries, 51 yards. He does get 2 touchdowns to his name. Robbie Anderson, 8 catches, 84 yards. Curtis Samuel had 7 catches for 68 yards. So to me, the wide receivers, Robbie Anderson is really what's bailing out Teddy, and the shoddy play calling. I'm going to blame it both. It's really bad play calling, and Brady should be ashamed of himself to call that kind of game and not picking up and understanding and learning, because he's got to learn just like players do. Coaches have to learn just as much as these players do when it comes to what to do and what not to do, and they keep repeatedly making the same things or continue being the same kind of problems. Over on Denver's side, Drew Lock was 21 of 27, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns, and was only sacked once for 11 yards, and that was Jeremy Chin that sacked him. Melvin Gordon, and they kept the run game down. 13 carries, 68 yards. That's all he got. I mean, what more can you ask for the defense whenever getting a rushing down? KJ Hamler, of course, receiving 2 catches, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tim Patrick, 3 catches, 36 yards, a touchdown. And Nick Vanette, 1 touchdown as well. And on the defensive side for Denver, Kareem Jackson, 7 tackles. You had Will Parks, you had Jeremiah Choa, you had DeMarcus Walker, Tremont Jones, all each having a sack on Teddy today. On the Panther side defense, Jeremy Chin, of course, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Dante Jackson had a pretty decent game, 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Sly was 2 for 2 in field goals, 3 for 3 extra points. So didn't miss anything. And Brandon McManus, which is their kicker, was 2 of 4 on extra points. So he did miss 2 extra points. That made it a little bit closer from what it was. But Panther Nation was a terrible, terrible thing. Next week, we got to go to Lambeau. And I was hoping we would at least split these last 4 games up. We thought to get the win today. We were 3.5-point favorite to win. Today they've got us favored against Washington too, but we have to play Denver next week, and then on the last game of the season we have to play the Saints. So I thought we could possibly be 2-2, but today was just no excuse for that. It was a really bad game, Panther Nation. I saw some of the chat boards. People were just lit up with this play calling. It was terrible. They kept slanting and Teddy checking down all the time. I mean, granted, I know 4 sacks, the defense was rough, but it was just sometimes you're just checking everything down, and maybe it was because the defense was overwhelmingly good, but they made Drew Lock look like an all pro today. And it was just ridiculous how they played. It was upsetting to watch the play calling that the Panthers were doing. I mean, their defense done all that they could. I can't really blame the defense. It was just the offense. That's the problem. I did see that this makes the Panthers' 7th one-score loss this season. The Panthers are 0-8 this season when their opponents score more than 22. And not to rub it in even worse, 17 straight losses when the Panthers are trailing at the half. 17. That means if we're down in the first after the first half, we're pretty much screwed the rest of the game, because we don't do well with comebacks apparently. So it's a lot to work on. It's going to be just as much next week with taking on Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, are running back. It's just something else. So I don't know, Panther Nation, a little disgusted with today's game. Would have thought they'd at least gotten improved better. And they're off defense, no complaints with the defense. The defense done a heck of a job. Offense, I do blame it on you. I mean, you had the play calling. I'll blame play calling just as well. It was shoddy play calling. And it trickles down into the players. So it was terrible. Panther Nation, we just, it's just one of those rough patches we're going through. We're having to rebuild, and our defense is getting better, but our offense is where I'm worried about now, and the play calling that we're getting. And hopefully these coaches get it through their head after a while and learn from one game and not make the same mistakes in the next game. So anyways, that's how it goes, I guess, Panther Nation. So, sorry, we're gonna wrap this video up for right now. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, if you will like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow my social media that has popped up above there. If you have any questions, comments, opinions, anything to say, as always, feel free to drop it in the comment box. I will definitely get it back to you. So, thanks for joining me once again, Panther Nation. Another loss for us from the looks of it, but we'll just have to take it and move on and get stronger. So, until next time, Panther Nation, this is Bill Mack with the Panther Prowl saying, keep pounding.